Margaret Whitmore had not slept well in months. Since her husband, Thomas Whitmore, passed away, the farmhouse they built together felt cold and empty. Trusting her daughter, Emily Carter, she signed the property over to her, believing the promise that this would always be her home. But after Emily married Daniel Carter, Margaret was treated less like a mother and more like a servant. One freezing morning at 4:37 a.m., Emily banged on Margaret's bedroom door and ordered, "Wake up, make some coffee, and set the table. Daniel's business partners are coming for breakfast." Margaret, exhausted and aching, quietly said she was not feeling well. Emily crossed her arms and replied coldly, "You live here for free. The least you can do is help." Fighting back tears, Margaret slowly made her way to the kitchen and prepared breakfast in the house she and her husband had built with years of sacrifice. When the guests arrived, Margaret placed the food on the table and turned to leave. One of the visitors suddenly stood up in shock. "Mrs. Whitmore?" he asked. His name was Jonathan Reeves, a man whose family Margaret had helped many years earlier by paying for his mother's surgery. He had never forgotten her kindness. Now a successful attorney, Jonathan explained that Thomas had left legal instructions before his death. Jonathan opened a folder and revealed that Thomas had protected Margaret's lifetime ownership rights and created a private investment account in her name. He slid a statement across the table showing a balance of $4.8 million. Then he handed her a letter from Thomas. In it, he wrote that he knew Margaret's trusting heart and wanted her to live with dignity, never allowing anyone to make her feel like a burden. Margaret wept as she read the words of the man who had loved and understood her completely. Emily collapsed to her knees and begged for forgiveness. Margaret gently told her, "I forgive you, but forgiveness does not mean I must stay where I am not respected." That same day, Jonathan helped Margaret move into a peaceful lakeside cottage. For the first time in years, she woke to birdsong instead of commands. Later, she used her wealth to establish the Whitmore House Foundation, helping widows who had been mistreated by their families. Months passed before Emily gathered the courage to visit. One spring morning, she arrived at Margaret's cottage carrying fresh coffee beans. With tears in her eyes, she said, "I made breakfast, and I was hoping that this time I could serve you." Margaret saw genuine remorse in her daughter's face and opened the door. As they sat together watching the sunrise, Emily poured 2 cups of coffee with trembling hands. Margaret smiled softly. For the first time in years, the coffee tasted like love.